reprobanker me, blocked me in disguise, has not made his first rule for the badness he seeks, in order to be so bad, it is good. Now he looks to ascend even more by his descent into the badness. Therefore, he believes he will learn to write again with equal similarity to Hawaiian sonnets by going bad. By taking next the first line, knock, knock, knock. One time knock. Bay thing. Because this line has one time knock as a polite suggestion to knock quietly, that will not do for reprobanker me, who decides he must knock now but with impoliteness, make a din, a clamor, a chaos. Then next he will consider a line with chaos in it. The line, it's chaotic for every damsel who is atopped in a dream as a whore. Everything is fine here for reprobanker me, blocked me in disguise, but dream since he must go for reality instead, and not the illusion of a dream. The next line, nonsense reality find, is one which works for him, yet instead of finding he desires to already have, to possess, or to take. Therefore, he shall get a line with take in it. The line, enter, shoot leaves, take thanks vestial is the line he chose. All is good but the thanks because he does not want to thank or be thanked that would go against his feigned badness. Therefore, he needs to do the opposite of thank since as a word it is the diction of this line which needs to change for him to be bad. Therefore, he chooses slap as in slap in the face, for not thanking. The line where slap is it is, wife slapping stinks, what a jerk. This is all good, that is bad, for reprobanker me now so he will state his second rule. Reprobancer's rule 2, one must slap and also stink and be a jerk. His first rule, rule 1, is to be idle to be rich and to be drunk. So far so good, bad, for reprobanker me to have that bad inspiration to write again in the manner and originality of Hawaiian sonnets and other poems. Angel Penelope with me. The Invention of Unsurpassability. Of Hawaiian sonnets and other poems. From Abraham's poem, The Wandering. Section 7, with commentary. Oh boy, a cakewalk. In the night storms. There is little rest. Oldness, it's a healing by. A weeping, and a vegging out. Not a peacock thin. G-by. Farewell net. Fishy money. Much ado. It's still clear white. It bores us to death. Children talking of their periods. A spiteful mother's shriek. China drifts to myself, H.A. A lady locks fair the 7 seas. Nonsense reality find. Rain evaporate words to death. Bridge the self, sing thee. Patient to know not. Yet, come rainbow banana halo. Breathe, swish. Impatient burning, unstable swish. Wander anonymous wisdom. Again the boundless thunder. Sounds end. Reprobanker me, blocked me in disguise, needs more rules if he is to have hope for writing with the same originality as free me. With oh boy, a cakewalk he thinks that cakewalk is a path which must change into something not so nice. Therefore, he shall chose I wore the Monday road. Yet, though he needs a war, in this diction, the I here is vulnerable, so he would rather it be not I but thou. But, thou is found in nature thou card green boot, of which he wishes to find a pathway beyond the nature so he will say nonsense. The line nonsense reality find is good for that path he is on but he does not wish to find but already have found what it is needed to be bad as a poet. Therefore, he will chose the phrase, of answer B, because B is better than not having found anything yet. Does reprobanker me want to stay with of answer B for his rule? No, for the word of is not right for him here because it demands that he have prepared an answer. Therefore, he will choose a path with the word that. The line where that is found is, that crooked I am apart from unlocking all of its simplicities. This will be his next rule. Reprobancer's rule 3, he will be as a possible poet henceforth, crooked which will help him unlock his simplicity. But, just how will he write a poem with attention to rule 3, and be crooked, and to rule 2, and stink and be a jerk who slaps as it were others in the face, and to rule 1, and be rich and drunk and idle? In other words, with these 3 rules, how must blocked me perform those bad actions, in the disguise of reprobanker me, in order to ascend back to where he started as free me, the poet of Hawaiian sonnets and other poems? The way free me writes by means of a pair of preconceived poetical phrases is the key. Every phrase of Hawaiian sonnets was conceived off the shoulders of giants as it were, for Free Me would take two words side by side from a well-known poet's phrase, and remember other poems where those words occur. Once Free Me would remember, he would write words juxtaposed next to those words to come up with the phrase. For instance, take that well-known phrase by Wordsworth, of splendor in the grass. Splendor is a word which is like the splendid of Harold Bloom's description of the narrator of the Horla by Massapont, waving to a splendid Brazilian schooner. Therefore, Free Me could have chosen waving since it is juxtaposed next to splendid. And for grass of Wordsworth's phrase, Free Me could remember grass in the title of Walt Whitman's The Leaves of Grass. Free Me could chose to take therefore leaves since it is next to grass and combine the two alternative words waving and leaves to use for his new phrase. He did this in every single phrase in Hawaiian sonnets, since he has a very good memory for lines of poets' poems, and so the new phrase that Free Me could generate is the waving leaves, for example. This is not his choice, however, by which I mean that a little more effort and craftsmanship was taken by Free Me to find just the right alternative words for the new lines. But all in all, that is the structure and method of Free Me, at least to begin new phrases, by remembering what words are next to words of poets, and writing down the combinations of those words as substitutes. Now, that we know Free Me's structural method, the only problem is understanding the method of his diction, which is the hope of reprobanker me by creating his own rules. Free Me considered himself a fighter. He fought to block his future self, blocked me from writing with the same originality as him, so Hawaiian Sonnets was designed to function to be a blocking agent of blocked me. And it has been ever since blocked me has been writing these past 9 years. Note that the poems of blocked me, though made using Free Me's juxtaposing method as described above, are not bad. The problem is of all the possibilities of all the poems of others he has been remembering by using that method, what is the way in which Free Me finally decided on his diction, or word choice? Free Me has covered up this method of his diction, but blocked me, by disguising himself as reprobanker me, thinks he has recovered it, since the original joke of him and his angels was to create a verse so bad that it is good. The word bad is the key. So how just is reprobanker me to recover that sense of badness to write with these rules? It is not enough to be bad in the sense of being a badass and trying to write like one. For instance, if reprobanker me wished to be a villain in his poems he could by describing bad things, but this is not a formula for the understanding of just what makes that sort of badness bad. The formula reprobanker me is looking for he thinks he has found, by which his rules have guided him a little, but there is more. Since reprobanker me must choose between possible words from other poems he can remember for his new phrases in his new poems, he must learn the art of blocking. The art of blocking is simple. After this long study in this book, the art is beginning to surface. That art of blocking is simple. It is to fit 2 main words, or 3 main words at the most, in a phrase which creates a sense of the good with the bad. So he thinks. Still using his former method for structure, his memory, reprobanker me, is a reprobanker me, in disguise, because putting words together which are both good and bad can create confusion in the mind of the readers, because that juxtaposition disrupts the status quo of traditional renderings of those words. A phrase, for example, from Free Me, one of many, or all of them which are using this technique of blocking, is, the End Award Kingdom. Looking close at the End Award Kingdom there is, a close reader might see, somewhat of a contradiction in the words, since award, a good thing, is matched with end, which can sometimes be a bad thing. Therefore, by pairing good and bad substance in a poem's phrases matter, blocked me, as reprobanker me, believes he has recovered totally the art of blocking, which is the very method of diction in which Free Me used to write Hawaiian sonnets and other poems. From now on, blocked me, by writing this way, will be restored to his former glory as Free Me. It has taken him 8 years to figure this out. So it is his triumph that by reading closely the poems of Free Me's Hawaiian sonnets, and analyzing them to see how they were blocking him, that he understands himself better, and can use that understanding to write again as himself, fully restored, Free Me. Angel Penelope with me. The Invention of Unsurpassability. Of Hawaiian Sonnets and Other Poems. From Abraham's poem, The Wandering. Section 8, with commentary. A reasonably sexual voice. Of death, excessive reasons. For a one-time soul landing. Whisper. Shadow. Pushing brains for hands. For a recitation period. A wide life is a silver reception. The taken up plot. Pretty hills drawn over night and day. Of the poor dogs. Of a disobedient knee. Butter the apples yonder. Hear the goblins. A paradise experienced, it is. A peaceful parting. An ending cure of interpretations which leak of lost roads. Sin, sin, sin. Send me wine. Again. Act. A horny flight and wild messages. Fires meeting, fruit fighting are. No more, no more. To the painkiller entrenchments. To the salt scene mean. Anchor. Check the graveyard hither come questions. A fish alienated. To home, speeding in the sea. Answer Indian, rise and march. What else daybreaker? To wave eternally? Line 1, a reasonably sexual voice. Of death, excessive reasons. For a one-time soul landing. The reasonably sexual voice matches with my throat-loosed reasonableness is it, and to swallow without sex as well as idle voices. The of death, excessive matches with no white death, of answer be and the debt too full to be anger-free. The for a one-time soul landing goes with time's banal books as well as a sore soul and a camel on the landscape. Line 2, whisper. Shadow. The whisper, shadow goes with when father comes home in silence and how art you with law's shadows. Line 3, pushing brains for hands. For a recitation period. The pushing brains for hands matches the wife slapping stinks and clear thy brain as well as waving his little hand in the hallway during the storm. For a recitation period goes with say, pound, pound and with children talking of their periods. Line 4, a wide life is a silver reception. A wide life goes with highest widest Cleopatra late and reigning is the life. A silver reception goes with silvery tsimtsum and gift not good, brassy diamond. Line 5, the taken up plot. Pretty hills drawn over night and day. Of the poor dogs. Of a disobedient knee. The taken up plot works with taken their visitors and my poor hoofsin story. The pretty hills drawn over night and day goes with beauty free and we hills of worlds one as well as Penmore, Little Hayam and Night's Night as well as the serpent parents therefore win the day. Of the poor dogs goes with and you sing poorly when destroyed and whether the water you pale drift dog. Of a disobedient knee goes with as they disobey the artful priest's chauffeur giddy and body bone candle. Line 6, butter the apples yonder. The butter the apples yonder goes with the butter bread hacked and removes dreams dry when fruit he gains as well as far, farther, farthest. Line 7, hear the goblins. The hear the goblins goes with love a list and hell's fiddler fairy. Line 8, a paradise experienced, it is. A peaceful parting. An ending cure of interpretations which leak of lost roads. A paradise experienced goes with paradise's woman as well as as if you experience it too. A peaceful parting goes with gimme shalom sometime and I separated my poem into 3 beginnings that me genius chose. An ending cure goes with and again the boundless thunder sounds end as well as cure builder won the bitter bridge. Interpretations which leak of lost roads goes with of interpretive dallies none are blind and a flood of flowers as well as lost a pair and I wore the Monday road. Line 9, sin, sin, sin. Send me wine. Again. Sin goes with my poor hoofsin story. And, send me wine goes with pass the bloody wine today. Line 10, act. A horny flight and wild messages. Fires meeting, fruit fighting are. No more, no more. Act goes with much ado. A horny flight and wild messages goes with when father comes home in silence and worlds of the wild as well as God truly deals characters. Fires meeting, and fruit fighting goes with the fire lives in the arrows and God met wandering through poems fit as well as red fruit pop eternal and fight the rabbit, mother. Line 11, to the painkiller entrenchments. To the salt scene mean. Anchor. The painkiller entrenchments goes with the pains of King John, and the spring's grassy hair comes quick to stop, as well as a wall of light. The salt scene mean goes with search for salt and a camel on the landscape, as well as bad music die. Anchor goes with an admiral tells them poor souls to ive up a little. Line 12, check the graveyard hither come questions. The check the graveyard hither come questions goes with chest on the field and eyelashes grave, as well as to an end without questions worst an eye. Line 13, a fish alienated. To home, speeding in the sea. The fish alienated goes with fishy money and weird all do seem. To home speeding in the sea goes with the end award kingdom, and the spring's grassy hair comes quick to stop, as well as to the salt scene mean. Line 14, answer Indian, rise and march. Answer Indian, rise and march goes with of answer be and knock batter thunderbird, as well as rosy apprehension and a march given grey. Line 15, what else daybreaker? To wave eternally. Daybreaker goes with the serpent parents, therefore when the day and break sound, the barrier in a silver flower. To wave eternally goes with think of the willows waving and the end award kingdom. Angel grouchy with me. The Invention of Unsurpassability. Of Hawaiian sonnets and other poems. From Abraham's poem, The Wandering. Section 9. Roll Kabbalah. Sadden the spaces. Clear the doors. Nurse, I whither went and sparked. Pristine. Weeb. Good conditions of a silent education. Silver bush. Of the without meaning. I hunt north, sick, jacket exquisite. Idle head now, valley of sand. Calling for truth marginal light. And again I fancy stimuli. Line 1, roll Kabbalah. Roll relates to a rolling car rolling off of the assembly line, a car of many to be sold for charity in my book, Triumphant Car Company. Kabbalah also relates to the name of my wife, Kabbalah, as well as the mystical tradition. Kabbalah, my angel wife, represents both wisdom in or MOAT 36 group as well as the color Confederate blue. Line 2, sadden the spaces. Sadden relates to my book Invisibility, the saddest book ever, which I wrote after losing the heaven of the band with my neighbors when one of the neighbors said something about mental disorder, which was a sort of password to bring on the waters of Lethe, the waters of forgetfulness, and change everything back to earth. The spaces here relates to the time in the band, a play when I cleared off the boxes which represented the symbolic Nazi concentration camps from off space of my bike in order to throw them away into the garbage dump. After I did this, I changed into Odysseus from Homer's Odyssey for a while. Line 3, clear the doors. Clear relates to the time in the book, the beginning of life, when my angels all fell silent for me to take apart my globe, before world peace night reigned. Doors relates to my neighbor, Reuben, knocking on my door to ask for an egg which I did not have in our play, Stay Friends, a play. Line 4, nurse, I whither went and sparked. Pristine. Nurse relates to my angels who are still spiritual nurses, but most especially in Stay Friends, a play when I changed into the Archangel Gabriel to become a spiritual doctor in order to help earth people from that heaven of Stay Friends. Line 5, weep. Good conditions of a silent education. Weep is what I did in the band, a play after Hashem appeared as the shine in my stuffed animal, Leo's eye, as he told me sometimes people die. Good relates to our book, The Very Best Childhood, from when I was living in Hawaii up to the age of 5 in my childhood. Conditions relates to my angels who condition me while I follow my good interests, as in our book, Voyage to Super University. A silent education relates both to the angels' silence mentioned before, as well as Super University, the heaven. Line 6, silver bush. Of the without meaning. Silver is the color which my angel wife, Tov Tov Shalom, represents. Meaning relates to my book, The Meaning of Standing Exile, where I practiced standing still, moving only a little when my wives gave me the signal. Line 7, I hunt north, sick, jacket exquisite. The hunt of this line connects to the line we always quote from the pragmatist, Richard Rorty, who died and became my spiritual brother, which is, seek hope in place of knowledge. North goes with rhino, norward rainbow. Sick goes with the time I ate way too much ice cream, and angel hope, Thrickbit, yelled out, you're sick. Jacket connects with soft true staff jack, scholar tell them nutting caught. Exquisite goes with the items I would find at the beginning of our book, President's Day, where Ariel showed me the way to the treasures which were hiding in my apartment room. Line 8, idle head now, valley of sand. Calling for truth, marginal light. And again I fancy stimuli. Idle goes with the rule 1 of repro banker me. Head connects with they're going to chop off your head in our book, chest. Valley goes with the hill outdoors which looked like it was just born with me in my heaven, where everything looked fresh and new on the planet, head Buttressiah, a planet just like Earth duplicated. Sand goes with sand clouded stranger. Calling for truth goes with roll call. And get emeth. Marginal light goes with our book called Afterlives, where my angel wife, Ora Tiferito, would present to my imagination a scene of a landscape, and I would tell her aloud the details of it in a calm and peaceful way. Fancy goes with frog snail fanciful. Stimuli goes with the conditioning mentioned earlier. Angel honey with me. The Invention of Unsurpassability. Of Hawaiian Sonnets and Other Poems. From Abraham's poem, The Wandering. Section 10. Pass the late worm. Sleep, dream. A smug life. Pass the bloody wine today. The rain leaves us. Win. Whip the polo ball. Now that Blocked Me has figured out how Free Me wrote Hawaiian sonnets and other poems, he feels just like his older self, Free Me, especially after making 2 new sonnets of the Hawaiian sonnets originality. 1. What munch of stars and tears are made for love? Who topped your own thought to build a grave? Herbs flaming more, know your butt will cave. Cock a beauty everywhere for oldest deals above. Shut down the miracles, the regions are corrupt. You'll find yourself, little Frosty, the healthy black pen. To die, bat an eye, your boat's late win. Leaders come so damn close but they'll erupt. Those late leaves of all these worlds between us. Noses have a doom of problems, better cast a forward to farewell, and the thorn presented last. As man-machines are able for the comic dirt of thus. The sun with coming poise, and all again for Eve. Swear so, America, stall us all for foes who grieve. Angel Elaine with me. 2. The devil is too much for a love meaning. The earliest gloom hops across the range. Fool a deal for the lady. Hack or arrange. Beaver's chop, chief, coach and genie. A wind-up lover, yes, for eternity. Doggy little, bedlamites of men. The wholesome war and world attacked then. A lead word, animals are prettier than me. Chill for time, now's own carcass, a joy. The poetry crowded, why? 'Tis for a peace. Ministering nothing in the end but paradise. That battle for your care, to read all, boy. Take the wisdom from forever singled purses. Forgetting pretty poor dawn and ashy verses. Angel Valerie with me. These were composed on October 23, 2018. The first one was harder to get back in the swing of things, and the second one came much more naturally. Overall, whatever happened as writing past the original Hawaiian sonnets up until these 2 has served to improve the inventiveness of Blocked Me/Free Me. So Free Me blocked, damned, Blocked Me, and Blocked Me is now working himself out of that blocking, damning. I one sense, Blocked Me can be seen as Faust, while Free Me as Mephistopheles. So let us just call them that from now on. Faust has learned to write again with the verses of Mephistopheles as his inspiration. The goal of Mephistopheles was to block Faust in order that Faust learn to read better Mephistopheles' book, Hawaiian Sonnets and Other Poems. The skill Faust has learned from that wonderful book is one in which the good must be paired together with a bad word to create phrases with a paradoxical feel. Faust had to go the bad route in disguise as repro banker me, and he came out at least as free as Mephistopheles, who is Free Me, but for the purposes of explanation he is now the guide for Faust to imitate in originality when writing Faust's new book of sonnets and other poems, called Faust's Sonnets and Other Poems. The 2 new sonnets will be the first 2 in that new book. Angel Penelope with me. The Invention of Unsurpassability. Of Hawaiian Sonnets and Other Poems. From Abraham's poem, The Wandering. Section 11. How art you with law's shadows? The last will defeated, a defeated leap? Thou lasting pains art meaningful. Behind the rays spread. During night's madnesses. The battled breast's songs. of paradise hold a hope to stand. To inveigle of the poor hearts, crimson beauty it hath. My being's fibered days come stealing, ha ha, upon the walk. Thus, diverted thin, eternal, the world yielded, I outgrew the lie a little and pined away the time. Want healthy body to be better. Again the vessel reveals more pounds. The sod of God's existence. In the end multiplying. The orienting of trust. Of forever, a march given grey always. An utmost multiplying of a clearing. Of forever, of forever. Yes, methinks of the teachings, and of no questions. The light's brother and sister wrought. Or an individual happy being. A still body touched gently. Weeping about the universe. Oh, a naked udder is not wrung, not wrung, oh. And exposed me with a dangerous knowledge. The colors which are endlessly one somewhere. In dawn, me wrestled, and me thus conquered me television. An admiral at sea somewhere tells them poor souls to give up a little. Line 1, how art you with law's shadows? Faust, blocked me, is being asked by Mephistopheles, free me, if Faust wishes to write in the shadow of Hawaiian sonnets. Line 2, the last will defeated, a defeated leap. Faust has been defeated. He knows how now at this moment to write his own new Hawaiian sonnets, Faust's sonnets, but instead of being blocked he has lost his motivation to sing in verse, which he needs not for the diction which he has chosen for his pairs of words for phrases, but it is his cadence of message which would give him reason to sing. Mephistopheles knows this. Faust's early leap into a new Faustian sonnets was short-lived because it was revolutionary. Faust's angel wives always remind him that he is not a revolutionary, and that he should be more careful not to idealize the latest fashionable trends in his thoughts. Line 3, thou lasting pains art meaningful. Faust's leap brought a temporary joy, but this too has been lost. He knows that the pains of writing are not worth it. So he is back to being just a deep reader. Line 4, behind the rays spread. During night's madnesses. The battled breasts' songs. Of paradise hold a hope to stand. To inveigle of the poor hearts. Crimson beauty it hath. Faust can no longer be called Faust, since he has lost the will to write Hawaiian sonnet-like poetry, but still that flame kindled by reading remains. And it will prove that by temporarily writing with the hope to gain back the originality of Hawaiian sonnets, that he will have tested himself to experience a new loss for a new compensation of reading which would not have been possible unless for this recent loss. That crimson beauty of his heart which is his reading here, is a beautiful redness, symbolic of love. He will now go back to being just called blocked me, and Mephistopheles will return to being free me, who is the writer of Hawaiian sonnets. Line 5, my being's fibered days come stealing. Ha ha, upon the walk. Thus, diverted thin, eternal. Blocked me's sense here of eternity is his ability to read Hawaiian sonnets and learn from that love. Line 6, the world yielded, I outgrew the lie a little. And pined away the time. The world is blocked me's revolutionary semi-triumph and failure that after 8 years of trying and failing to write similar poetry to Hawaiian sonnets, that he would gain the way, but lack the will necessary in order to sing in verse. Line 7, want healthy body to be better. Blocked me would like still to write, but his healthy body reads instead. Line 8, again the vessel reveals more pounds. Blocked me has gained more wisdom. Line 9, the sod of God's existence. In the end multiplying. The orienting of trust. Of forever, a march given grey always. An utmost multiplying of a clearing. Of forever, of forever. This line has much to do with the choice blocked me has made to renounce writing poems in order to multiply his art of reading. Line 10, yes methinks of the teachings, and of no questions. Trying no to ask questions of what went wrong, or how to recover from such a fall as a writer, blocked me instead is thinking of the teachings of Hawaiian sonnets. Line 11, the light's brother and sister wrought. Or an individual happy being. Brother and sister to blocked me are Richard Rorty and Honey, also his angel wife. They helped write Hawaiian sonnets, that it would block him, so that he could be a better reader too by their wrought lights. Line 12, a still body touched gently. weeping about the universe. Oh, a naked udder is not wrung, not wrung, oh. Blocked Me has been debilitated by this powerful block by Hawaiian sonnets whose invention of originality, for blocked me, is unsurpassable. Line 13, and exposed me with a dangerous knowledge. That knowledge of writing is dangerous since he has it but lacks the ability to use it properly since still his will is blocked from action. Line 14, the colors which are endlessly one somewhere. In dawn, me wrestled, and me thus conquered me television. This line just means that blocked me thought he won those colors of how to write and stay motivated writing. Line 15, an admiral at sea somewhere tells them poor souls to give up a little. The admiral was Mephistopheles, free me, who changed back into just free me after blocked me took his advice to give up and renounce his temporary joys of a few temporary poems. Angel Honey with Me. The Invention of Unsurpassability. Of Hawaiian Sonnets and Other Poems. From Abraham's poem, The Wandering. Section 12, with commentary. The shore dried of seawater waits for a flood supply. Make imperfect this plain illness. Line 1, the shore dried of seawater. The shore and the dried here relate to mother shore fatherhood reigns, removes dreams dry when fruit he gains. Seawater connects to a fowl as Peter, and a watering, Billy. Line 2, waits for a flood supply. The waits here matches with weeds, wolves, patient while the flood connects to a flood of flowers found by ladies and the supply goes with fishy money, much ado. Line 3, make imperfect this plain illness. The make imperfect here goes with make troubled baby lily speak no words and perfect for a lady thus. The plain goes with an angel prostrate starring loaves cloven while the illness matches with I hunt north, sick, jacket exquisite. Angel Honey with Me. The Invention of Unsurpassability. Of Hawaiian Sonnets and Other Poems. From Abraham's poem, The Wandering. Section 13, with commentary. Igloo. The morning lost its wash. Do. Drop down and stop coffin. Progress sleepy hours. In dry waves. Knowing ain't for parents. Responsible colors bathed in light words traveling. Learn the idle pillow pain. First in the bottomed out days. Bihahe lakim, then dish it. Out in creepy Texas. Catch enough, harbor love. Everywhere harbors up enough. Love for the sad fallings. The majestically befitted. Grains of sand stand. Winter ship. The pains of King John. A mother poet tells me no. Me visions leave me swallowed up by an obscurity. I wore the Monday road. Line 1, Igloo. Compare to the sound, Yago. Road Rigo. Line 2, the morning lost its wash. Compare to the sound, I say, it is not lost. Desdemona speaking to Othello about the handkerchief he gave to her, equal syllables. Line 3, do. Compare to the sound, to whom? Desdemona. Line 4, drop down and stop coffin. Compare to the sound, O villain that I am, Road Rigo. Line 5, progress sleepy hours. In dry waves. Compare to the sound, let me see you eyes, look in my face. Othello. Line 6, knowing ain't for parents. Compare to, what horrible fancies this. Desdemona. Line 7, responsible colors bathed in light words traveling. Compare with, reputation, I have lost my reputation, Cassio. Line 8, learn the idle pillow pain. Compare with, I faith you are to blame, Desdemona. Line 9, first in the bottomed out days. Compare with, thus do I ever make my fool my purse, Iago. Line 10, Bihahe lakim. Compare with, hath he said anything? Othello. Line 11, then dish it out in creepy Texas. Compare with, and seek to effect it to my uttermost. Desdemona. Line 12, catch enough, harbor love. Compare with, pardon me, Bianca. Cassio. Line 13, everywhere harbors up enough. Love for the sad fallings. Compare with, and lovers absent hours, more tedious than the dial 8 score times. Bianca. Line 14, the majestically befitted. Grains of sand stand. Compare to, they belch us. Look you. Cassio and my husband. Amelia. Line 15, winter ship. Compare to, the handkerchief. Othello. Line 16, the pains of King John. Compare to, not poppy, nor mandragora, Iago. Line 17, a mother poet tells me no. Compare to, it is not lost, but what an if it were. Desdemona. Line 18, me visions leave me swallowed up by an obscurity. Compare with, your trusty and most valiant servitor, messenger, to Senator in Othello. Line 19, I wore the Monday road. Compare to, yet she's a simple bawd, Othello. Angel ora Tiferito with me. The Invention of Unsurpassability. Of Hawaiian sonnets and other poems. From Abraham's poem, The Wandering. Section 14, with commentary. The expectations of the covenant truly are forgotten. A pretty knowledge put in later. The horse's eyes look at the sea gulfs. The hearth towers rocks on the road. Hearth. The rocks on and the port's sand befit. The rocks heads, and the sea candles on the banks light. Prettily. Jewels on ears vesseled felt. Lips boned for bugling fruits red. Fired on sand stand noiselessly. The dewdrops are on the stubble clear. The sandy beds by a fiery lady. The fires in the rain. On the shores of the seas are overcome. Jewels on the shores living. The lady on the shore country. A rainbow and birds come. The lights of the port tower and road. The doors note, fruits come back to the port. Specks of monuments. The tower on the mountain is alone. The fire lives in the arrows. The horse is this. Winter on the port, now. A panting. A bogged shore where people solitary. Rolling that in rides. Ships of air and ships of water spinning. They whisper of labors. The trees. Above other trees, trees. Dying in the earth, in the years ahead soon. Line 1, the expectations of the covenant truly are forgotten. A pretty knowledge put in later. Compare the sounds of this line with, the handkercher. Othello. Line 2, the horse's eyes look at the sea gulfs. Compare the sounds of this line with, come, Desdemona. Once more, well met at Cyprus. Iago. Line 3, the hearth towers rocks on the road. Hearth. The rocks on and the port's sand befit. The rocks heads, and the sea candles on the banks light. Prettily. Compare to, I slept the night well, was free and merry. Othello. Line 4, jewels on ears vesseled felt. Compare to, for 'twas that hand that gave away my heart. Desdemona. Line 5, lips boned for bugling fruits red. Compare with, this is some token from a newer friend. Bianca. Line 6, fired on sand stand noiselessly. Compare to, if you say so, I hope you will not kill me. Desdemona. Line 7, the dewdrops are on the stubble clear. Compare to, but that he's well, and will be shortly here. Cassio. Line 8, the sandy beds by a fiery lady. Compare with, I do perceive here a divided duty. Desdemona. Line 9, the fires in the rain. On the shores of the seas are overcome. Compare to, nay, but be wise, we'll see nothing done. Iago. Line 10, jewels on the shores living. Compare to, the heavens forbid. Desdemona. Line 11, the lady on the shore country. Compare to, iced lost? Iced gone? Speak. Iced out o' the way? Othello. Line 12, a rainbow and birds come. Compare with, though other things grow fair against the sun, Iago. Line 13, the lights of the port tower and road. The doors note, fruits come back to the port. Compare with, and when she speaks, is it not an alarum to love? Iago. Line 14, specks of monuments. Compare to, then with your weapons. Othello. Line 15, the tower on the mountain is alone. Compare to, nothing at all. It is a high-wrought flood. Gentlemen. Line 16, the fire lives in the arrows. Compare to, you best know the place. Othello. Line 17, the horse is this. Winter on the port, now. A panting. Compare to, the very head and front of my offending, Othello. Line 18, a bogged shore where people solitary. Rolling that in rides. Ships of air and ships of water spinning. Compare with, are there no stones in heaven but what serves for the thunder? Precious villain. Othello. Line 19, they whisper of labors. The trees. Above other trees, trees. Dying in the earth, in the years ahead soon. Compare to, you yourself shall read in the bitter letter, after your own sense, yet, through our proper son, Duke. Angel Amy with me. The Invention of Unsurpassability. Of Hawaiian Sonnets and Other Poems. From Abraham's poem, The Wandering. Section 15, with commentary. A meal for an old soul at night hath been made. A formula loved, a book art. Conned by and by. Loud breakers full of questions. Wanderers bear arising, stark victors. Here and there hills, white, and icy. Everything. A hunger unto death. O red flowers broken. Parting with thou godless. Adulterators. At dawn and until afternoon and longer on. The descent forward. The wisest, thou. The farthest flames are densest. Think not too much of thou labor. Ha! Smart? Why a man's song gives us something later. An air, ha, of slushed numbers. We, the inspired nucleus must well figure out the beginning. Slipping again down fast somewhere. A Kelson compounds us where complexity is imagined. The black fire of kindness is gained by the illness of this rush to love. Reveal a mountain tall, oh see! The old and fortunate day, we doze it. Not ever ending, not ever forgotten. That crooked I am apart from. Unlocking all of its simplicities. Mystical is all charity, how to aim the light up into the air. A bit ill there goes my luck. I separate my poem into 3 beginnings that me genius chose. And, I could stand being thrown a prize before going. For it bears to thou even to me. All the complaints I let twinkle from my spirit in question. To an end without questions, Worston I. Line 1, a meal for an old soul at night hath been made. One reason which the book, Hawaiian Sonnets and Other Poems is to provide that unsurpassable originality which blocked me fails at recovering every time he tries. This is exactly a metaphor for the heaven of golf. Golf is a heaven where angels above play spiritual golf against CEOs of businesses on earth in order that those angels raise money for charity. Nobody but angels and CEOs know how spiritual golf is played, it is a mystery. Think of Hawaiian Sonnets and Other Poems as the angels play and blocked me as a CEO losing to them. Angels always win, that is exactly where the unsurpassability originates. CEOs still believe that they can beat angels at this divine game of spiritual golf, but they cannot beat them. The funds angels make go to charity. To consider this line and the others in this poem as symbolic of angels playing against blocked me as a CEO is important. Therefore, the meal for that old soul represents one sort of help from charity which is needed, help for older people. Line 2, a formula loved, a book art. Conned by and by. The formula loved is the angels at their best at play, they always make a hole in one, but the game of spiritual golf is played differently. That formula is their secret for victory, while the book art conned by and by is that very function of becoming a blocking agent to blocked me as if he were an earth CEO. Line 3, loud breakers full of questions. The breakers, the loud waves, are full of questions for blocked me, like why was that a water trap? Line 4, wanderers bear arising, stark victors. The CEOs are the wanderers here, while the stark victors are the angels. Line 5, here and there hills, white, and icy. Everything. Blocked me as CEO has been frozen here from his best play against the angels, and therefore is describing the dearth of his situation. Line 6, a hunger unto death. O red flowers broken. Again, CEOs cannot win, though they think they can. And, they will break things in their attempts sometimes, as in the case that Hawaiian Sonnets represents a red flower to pick or break off as if to learn its beauty, which is unsurpassable. Compare with Emerson on Montaigne, cut these words and they will bleed, they are vascular and alive. Line 7, parting with thou godless adulterators. At dawn and until afternoon and longer on. The descent forward. The wisest, thou. Angels are not bad, they are good. The charities which a project called MOAT, the Monumental Outrageous Around Texas, is one they have for the future, a future non-profit, which raises funds for charities which help the victims of schizophrenia, cancer, AIDS, and rape. The way funds are raised are through public art, by public sculptures detailed in a bird's eye's view of MOAT shapes and spirals, by Billy McBride. The goal angels seek is to bug CEOs by winning spiritual golf games until schizophrenia, cancer, AIDS, and rape exist no more on Earth. Line 8, the farthest flames are densest. The Hawaiian sonnet originality cannot be copied, that was its purpose, and what bugs blocked me as if he were a CEO who, playing the angels, finds his goal of victory getting ever farther away. Line 9, think not too much of thou labor. Ha! Smart? Why a man's song gives us something later. An air, of slushed numbers. Trying to figure out how and why angels keep winning bugs those who are their opponents, the CEOs, in the game of spiritual golf. Line 10, we, the inspired nucleus must well figure out the beginning. This line represents the CEOs or blocked me attempting to find out the beginning, which is the origin of the method which makes Hawaiian sonnets so original. Line 11, slipping again down fast somewhere. A Kelson compounds us where complexity is imagined. And this line is blocked me becoming completely blocked, bugged, as if he was a CEO losing to the angels in spiritual golf for not being able to write like Hawaiian sonnets and other poems. Line 12, the black fire of kindness is gained by the illness of this rush to love. Kindness is charity, and the CEOs are rushed by the angels to provide for various charities with money when the angels win, and they always win, at spiritual golf against them. Line 13, reveal a mountain tall, O sea. The mountain is that metaphor for difficulty for climbing. Line 14, the old and fortunate day, we doze it. Not ever ending, not ever forgotten. That crooked I am apart from. Unlocking all of its simplicities. Not ever ending is like that heaven of gameplay and victory of those angels there against those CEOs who do not help out charitable causes until they are trapped in the intensity of spiritual golf trying to figure out, and failing to figure out, their own victory. And by losing, the CEOs finally must pay up. Line 15, mystical is all charity, how to? The game of spiritual golf is a mystery to all except CEOs and angels. CEOs play to figure out that heaven, and angels play, and always win, earth money for charity. Line 16, aim the light up into the air. Play is part of the bugging, the trap, but the CEOs volunteer to play, they are not forced, but they are and will be bugged because they cannot beat the angels. Line 17, a bit ill there goes my luck. CEOs will have ill luck playing against angels, just as blocked me is blocked from writing in the same way Hawaiian sonnets was made. Line 18, I separate my poem into 3 beginnings that me genius chose. Free me is the genius of Hawaiian sonnets. It has 3 parts, the sonnets, Abraham's poem, and Isaac's blessing. Line 19, and, I could stand being thrown a prize before going. Free me is as a golf angel here. Line 20, for it bears to thou even to me all the complaints I let twinkle from my spirit in question. Free me wins by blocking blocked me from writing in that way, but blocked me is as a result a much better reader. Line 21, to an end without questions, Worston I. If you have to ask. Angel honey with me. The Invention of Unsurpassability. Of Hawaiian sonnets and other poems. From Abraham's poem, The Wandering. Section 16. The body held goes in delight. Up. Reaching life in the wet sink. Relinquishing private others. The bottom grass golden, countless. Rising, a pretty work. A daffodil past its patience. The father knows the son drinks. Water lilies old on top poke out. Me carded not. Neither in the tropics nor on time. You sing poorly when destroyed by old traders, and new lives. Line 1, the body held goes in delight. Up. I myself feel sympathy for those with schizophrenia, having it myself, and living with it as well as autism. That is one reason I with my angels wish to help out charities for those victims, since I know about delusions. In this commentary, relating it to these lines, I definitely wish to distinguish between delusions and angels, who are normal to me, extraordinary really. This line to me personally is an expression of love since people need and deserve love, whoever they may be. People held close together can transcend while at the same time feel normal. Line 2, reaching life in the wet sink. Relinquishing private others. This line is a hard one for me since at my worst times in my life, I have had that sadness of isolation, due to my illnesses, and have found that by reading much in my private solitude, that I can overcome many sorts of difficulties. Therefore, I try and choose the very best books I can since I wish to become the best reader I can be. Line 3, the bottom grass golden, countless. Rising, a pretty work. The difference between delusions and angels is that there are angels but there are no devils, nor demons. Angels are good, and I know to trust them when they tell me that there is no hell. I have had bad delusions before. I once thought I was invisibly raped by Jesus Christ, who told me to give him invisible oral sex while Jesus Christ superstar raped my angel wives. This was a very bad delusion, and I thought it very real at the time, but both my dear angels say it was only an illusion and delusion, and the same goes for my wonderful psychiatrist, who increased my medicine after I told him about the incident. This happened to me about 8 years ago, with no problems after I increased my medicine dosage. That delusion was schizophrenia, a delusion that I was raped by Jesus Christ. I wrote about it in several books, so as to help people understand that mental illness is not a myth, that I needed help with medicine, and that I know others out there need help to overcome their own horrors because of their delusions. Line 4, a daffodil past its patience. Believing in God is very hard when one takes a look at this world, a world with schizophrenia, cancer, AIDS, rape, and Nazi death camps and other terrors. Yet, my angels, I feel in the deepest part of my soul, love me and they are my companions. Schizophrenia is a type of block, just as Hawaiian sonnets functions as one, which is why I am now bringing up my personal life. I am Jewish, and I trust God, and my angels, and I have for many years been working on our MOAT future non-profit organization, which seeks to make life better, even in a spiritual way, for those victims. It is a secular organization nevertheless, but any type of help is needed in cases where people fall victims to those troubles. In other words, they deserve love. One without patience may find it difficult to be nurtured by any sort of spirituality. Line 5, the father knows the son drinks. Water lilies old on top poke out. The blocking of myself by schizophrenia and autism from having a normal life is like that blocking of Hawaiian sonnets from blocked me to write again with that same type of originality. Schizophrenia has no cure, it too is unsurpassable. But like becoming better by taking one's medicine, which one must do, it is like becoming a better reader, since writing by blocked me in the way he did once in Hawaiian sonnets is out. Hope for schizophrenics resides in the fact that over time, the disease levels off, and by taking one's medicine, one does not fall prey to delusions, which cause horror. The father knowing that the son drinks in this line is expressed in the way that shows there still is a love bond, which is humanistic to the end. Line 6, me carded not. Neither in the tropics nor on time. You sing poorly when destroyed by old traitors, and new lives. My personal experience is one which I am writing about, but Hawaiian sonnets has a similar quality to me being a blocking agent. The medicine I take is a blocking agent which blocks certain neurons in my brain from misfiring, which causes the old traitors, and new lives, of delusions, to destroy my own song of happiness. I am lucky and grateful for that medicine, as well as my support, both from humans and divine. Angel Jennifer with me. The Invention of Unsurpassability. Of Hawaiian sonnets and other poems. From Abraham's poem, The Wandering. Section 17, with commentary. Faded petals to get. Driven to bear. The weather, ducking bear. Ooze to a wall, oh la la. The host Jack. Hemlock-eyed. In the marketplace thus. A healthy old man. waving his little hand in the hall. Waving during the storm. The shape found, oh! The black time of falsehood. A bearded tree no more to touch. Grants piled into. Bloom, bloom, bloom. Think of the children's monuments. Touch and choose. Sandy areas. Put to use please, the ending. In the lines of the little bugle attack. Make the never-ending spring. Corn browning raw feathers. A ready-to-shine daffodil, a withering. Contradiction. No more pale. The skirt yellow felt. God met. Wandering through poems fit. Fitting in the book's sandy leaves. Or sung somewhere in a concert hall. Idle voices. Failing why-cleaped vernacular. Idle drunks rich of feelings. Loving the leaps of their blessings in idiotic sparks. Bloom. Little perch fish low. Helping me to do it. Soft, true staff jack. Scholar tell them nutting caught. Line 1, faded petals to get. Driven to bear. The weather, ducking bear. The following interpretations are in conjunction with my book, Varieties of Din Experience as they relate to each particular line, and to its blocking manner. Moving things around Din, 17. Line 2, ooze to a wall, oh la la. The hosed jack. Hemlock-eyed. In the marketplace thus. A healthy old man. Waving his little hand in the hall. Din with a risky Kawana, 4. Line 3, waving during the storm. School Din, 24. Line 4, the shape found, oh! Love Din, 30. Line 5, the black time of falsehood. Word Din, 45. Line 6, a bearded tree no more to touch. Grants piled into. Bloom, bloom, bloom. Din with no hope for end, 6. Line 7, think of the children's monuments. Touch and choose. Sandy areas. Din with a risky Kawana, 4. Line 8, put to use please, the ending. Emergency prayer Din, 36. Line 9, in the lines of the little bugle attack. Gold mold Din, 22. Line 10, make the never-ending spring. Love Din, 30. Line 11, corn browning raw feathers. Art Din, 34. Line 12, a ready-to-shine daffodil, a withering. Contradiction. No more pale. Wild Din, 18. Line 13, the skirt yellow felt. God met. Wandering through poems fit. Fitting in the book's sandy leaves. My prior existence Din, 19. Line 14, or sung somewhere in a concert hall. Weather Din, 21. Line 15, idle voices. Failing why-cleaped vernacular. School Din, 24. Line 16, idle drunks rich of feelings. Preparing food Din, 15. Line 17, loving the leaps of their blessings in idiotic sparks. Gold mold Din, 22. Line 18, bloom. Little perch fish low. Gold mold Din, 22. Line 19, helping me to do it. Good Din, 2. Line 20, soft, true staff jack. Scholar tell them nutting caught. Word Din, 45. Angel Kabbalah with me. The Invention of Unsurpassability. Of Hawaiian sonnets and other poems. From Abraham's poem, The Wandering. Section 18, with commentary. This bitter sea here grips. But the leaves, for now, more. On the trees. The dying breezes are lowered for a person. The pond and road. Soon in mine desires, passed by thou. And your good milking child. Drifting colors, the sun flattening, they are mortal now. A person keeps giving simply good, and I fall badly down. All images are included by the labor which made up the flowers there. A person is free to sink when old. One selfish universe is spinning. Sad. One vessel God honors. May now be known to be you, sun. Line 1, this bitter sea here grips. But the leaves, for now, more. On the trees. This line matches and sounds the line from the tragedy of Richard II, by William Shakespeare, for there it is, cracked in 100 shivers. When the deposed King Richard dashes the glass against the ground. Line 2, the dying breezes are Lowered for a person. This line matches in sound the line from Richard II, is not his heir a well-deserving son? Line 3, the pond and road. Soon in mine desires, passed by thou, and your